So I just watched All Quiet on the Western Front on Netflix, and
so fucking close.
I was really looking forward to this one, but I gotta say, I'm slightly disappointed. I'm of the firm belief that this film should have been way better than it was, especially when you consider that the original film was released 92 freaking years ago. Holy guacamole. But somehow it still works to this day, and that's just insane. The original All Quiet on the Western Front is one of those rare cases of a bona fide classic that stood the test of time and yet still deserves a remake. Just imagine that movie, but with today's modern technology. This thing has the potential to be one of the greatest war films ever made, and that's what this film was supposed to be. But unfortunately, it falls short. That's not to say it's a bad film overall, far from it. As expected, the technical elements of the film are superb. It's incredibly well shot, well edited, and the sound design is ear-piercingly terrific. The battle scenes in the trenches are intense, horrifying, and utterly brutal. They're the highlight of the film for sure, right up there with the battle scenes of Dunkirk and Hacksaw Ridge. There were multiple moments when I audibly gasped, shuddered, or had to avert my eyes. Not for the faint of heart. The actors do a really good job in selling the terror, the inhumanity, and the desperation that these poor souls most likely experienced in real life. And the music does a great job in imbuing a perpetual sense of dread. So, the film is undeniably well made and well executed, and I do recommend people watch it. It's effective at what it tries to do. However, I can't help but compare it with the original, and unfortunately, this new version makes several changes that lower the overall quality, in my opinion. Now, both films are based on a book which I never read, and I don't know if the changes make this modern adaptation closer to the book or not, but personally, as a general rule, I don't care about faithfulness to source material as much as other people do. I just judge films based on their own merits, and I'm sorry, these changes make the film worse. For starters, in the original movie, we care much more about the characters. The film takes its time, allowing us to get to know them. We spend time with them in boot camp. We see them interact with one another way more, and the characters are just more fleshed out. That way, when they end up dying one by one, we are way more invested. In the new version, the characters aren't nearly as likable. The film strips the boot camp scenes entirely, and the majority of the bonding scenes are either shortened or omitted, and we end up caring less about the characters as a result. Paradoxically, the old version with the dated visuals hits way harder than the new, polished, and grandiose remake. Another change in the remake is that it adds this separate and irrelevant subplot following this German diplomat played by Friedrich Zoller from Inglourious Basterds, as he tries to negotiate with the French in order to end the war. And the film goes back and forth between our heroes in the trenches and him. This character and this entire subplot are not in the original film, and I think it's better for it. This addition felt unnecessary, just an excuse to insert a famous face into the film. In the original, the entire film is spent with the soldiers, which, again, allows us to get to know them better and care about them more. And the final major change is the ending, which I won't spoil for either film, but I will say that the original film's ending is one of the most hauntingly melancholic endings of any movie I've ever seen. And yet, inexplicably, this remake decides to change it completely. Why? You had a perfect ending handed to you on a silver platter. Why fix what isn't broken? Really mind-boggling if you ask me. I found the original ending to be far superior, and it hit me way harder, both in terms of the imagery and with what actually happens. It's not that the new ending is bad, but it could have been much better. And that, I think, is a perfect analogy for the entire film. I know it might look like I'm hating on it, but I'm really not. All Quiet on the Western Front is a good, well-crafted war film that is most successful when it attempts to take the viewer on a ride straight to hell. If you're up for it, then you should definitely check it out on Netflix right now. It's just that me personally, knowing what it could have been, I expected more. Regardless, it's still better than most of the films that came out this year, just on the technical elements alone. And I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like button, it'll help my channel out. And if you want to see more of my videos, then subscribe to my channel so you won't miss a thing. Thank you all very much, and have a good one.